during my divorce, we had this terrible guardian ad litem. She actually is now known by the director of the Ramsey County Guardian Ad Litem program for having committed perjury, which I documented, and playing along with some of my ex's stuff. Of course, nothing can be fixed, of course. But anyways, it is known. But she glommed onto the idea that I probably have borderline personality disorder, which is, of course, a personality disorder that's highly stigmatized. And people, have really negative experiences with people with borderline personality disorder. And so, if I have borderline personality disorder, this would explain the otherwise inexplicable fact that my children are now afraid of me and don't want anything to do with me. So she worked overtime to try and get that in there. When I got to a therapist who, in fact, specializes in helping people with borderline personality disorder, he was so mad. He was like, one of the first times we met, and I'm telling him all this stuff that's gone wrong, and he says, "Do you feel like people just kind of have it out for you?" And I said, "Well, no, that's the whole thing, is that I keep thinking like, oh, this person will do their job. And then I'm waylaid when they're like, do something completely jacked up." And he was like, "Yeah, nobody with borderline personality disorder has ever even had that thought, like, it's very clear. This isn't a thing. However, that's a whole issue." I actually do get into some of my, mental health stuff and how the role that played in my divorce over on my TikTok, if that's an area of interest to you. But point being, I actually do believe in people, even though I have had the experience of over and over and over again having people do the wrong thing. And not only that, but like I cut my eye teeth in ministry doing in a juvenile prison. I've worked directly on the streets with homeless people. I seem to attract foster kids to me. So many foster kids. The stories I have heard of what people have done to their children, some of them I wouldn't even repeat unless I'm like one, just in case one of them ever heard it, because it's such a tender thing, I wouldn't even take the risk. But two, because, unless I'm with like somebody who has a background in law enforcement or in combat or something, I wouldn't even want to put such things into somebody's head if they haven't already, been exposed to it. Like, it's ugly out there. People do really ugly things, and the people who do really ugly things basically are in charge and always have been. Like, this isn't new. This is one of my frustrations with people, and I understand where it comes from. There's kind of this assumption that there was a before time when things were better. And no, you were just a kid. And so people were protecting you and it felt better. And now you're an adult and now people aren't protecting you and it doesn't feel good anymore. That's literally what's happening here. Like, nothing has gotten worse. Maybe we can see more, but there is nothing we are experiencing. The pace at which we are experiencing things has changed, but our capacity has also changed. So there is nothing we are experiencing that human beings have not experienced before. And that's screwed up. It's really screwed up. We've been screwed up for a very long time. None of this is new. And I genuinely believe that the reason for that is because, I think there's a whole bunch of reasons, but as it stands now, we just have a bunch of really crappy people left in charge. And frankly, they're probably crappy just because doing things in a crappy way, which at some point was like progress, it was better than what went before, has worked well enough for them that their delusion that this is the best way of doing it just hasn't been punctured yet. Like, it makes sense to them and all the rest of us, an entire world of people screaming, this is some bullshit. We just aren't smart. We don't know what we're talking about. Because if we were smart and knew what we were talking about, we'd be successful like them. See? Don't you see? See how it works? So anyways, and yet I actually believe that we have the capacity to do amazing things. I actually believe that we have the capacity to overcome believe it or not. I mean, we are facing really formidable obstacles right now. Climate change, our weapons systems, the ongoing conflict. I mean, if humanity survives another 100 years, they will probably, the time we're living in right now will be well inside the dates that they put World War III under. It's probably already happening. And we're just kind of catching on. So, yeah, it's rough out there. It's really rough out there. But I actually just this morning looked up, there is a woman, and I am embarrassed. I'm not going to remember her name properly. She's best known for being Rodin. I'm terrible with pronunciating things, people. I read more than talk. But the famous sculptor, the sculptor who did The Kiss and The Thinker, his mistress is what she's known for. They opened a museum for her sculpture. And she's an amazing artist, She also spent 30 years in an insane asylum. With her brother and her mother insisting on isolating her despite 30 years of doctors telling them that she didn't need to be there. Yep. That's what we've done to people. Which means also that whatever little bit of progress we have made, that gives people like that a much better chance of surviving and being recognized and being heard. As recently as the 60s, DNA, there was a woman involved in the discovery of DNA. Her name is on the work. She was not included in the Nobel Prize for that work. There is so much untapped human potential available to us. So much. And that's just looking at women. That's not even looking at Africa, India, a lot of South America, places all over the world, all over the planet, where people understand the assignment. They get it. Things are changing. And for those of us who are in a space where we're still looking at empire as the most powerful thing, well, okay, yeah, very powerful. It's very scary. Now what are you going to do? Are you going to build something to survive? To help your neighbor? To make it a better world? Or are you just going to be like, we're all going to die? Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. We all die. That's how it works. Not news. Really, it's something your family should have been preparing you for from childhood so you could live a life that leaves this world in better shape than you found it, regardless of the obstacles. But the point being that I do believe in people. I believe that there is enormous untapped potential out there. I believe that the progress that we do make enables people to move closer to their own freedom and to unlock all this potential. I believe that there are answers to major problems in a village in Afghanistan, in a room that a teenage girl is stuck in, crying because she can't even picture a future for herself. I think she has an answer that we need. We have to stop looking at people as our enemies. We're not. Yeah, there are those people. They're running things. They're running things. They've been running things. That's why the world is like this. If we want a better world, what we do is we go find that girl in a room in Afghanistan and we help her get free. Because there's so much human potential out there and it's untapped. And just think, if instead of a world built by the people who used other people, who exploited other people, who diminished and destroyed other people, if instead of a world built by those people, we got the world built by the people who actually care, by the people who are going to, try and bring everyone along, by the people who say, I don't want to live in a world of dominance and shame and deprivation and cruelty. Like, we have what we need. We really do. It's the people. We have the people. There are 8.5 billion of us. What we need exists. We can figure it out. I believe that. I genuinely believe that. That's why I do the work that I do. It's why I bother talking to people. Because I promise you, I would be very happy to be like a hermit in the woods. My ideal life would be I somehow miraculously become like a New York Times bestselling author, take my little stash of money and go live with the squirrels. I don't have to deal. I'll have a dog. I'll talk to the dog. But no, I mean, I do. I love people. Just, the world is so unhealthy. And people can be problematic, and I can create my own little pocket of peace wherever I am. So that is always the temptation. But guess what? I think you can create your own little pocket of peace wherever you are. And I think that the people around you can create their own little pocket of peace wherever they are. And then we'll be like bubbles. And when we run into each other, we can share our pockets of peace, and we can build and build and build from there. So anyways, that is my pep talk for why you should not despair about the human condition. So has it always been. But we are just starting to see the unleashing of a whole lot of potential. Because guess what? I got free. I'm still out there. I haven't been destroyed, and neither have you. We got this. All right. I love you all. I will talk with you again soon. Go check out my website, theupsidedownworld.com. You can find links to all my socials there. Be sure to check out my YouTube page and my TikTok. Lots of videos there. And yeah, get merchandise. Buy my books. Make me that New York Times bestselling author. I'll send you, I'll keep talking to you from the woods. I'll tell you what the squirrels have to say. Like that dude from, oh God. The Emperor's New Groove. I'll teach you all squirrel. All right. Love you. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.